Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-Year-Old Boy Podcast. Hey, weird opening with no music, right? Should we do it like this from now on? Is this the plan? Am I changing it up just enough to where I'm going to go without music from this point on? Absolutely not. Because that would cause you to turn it off. You'd be like, fuck, I come here for the music. I like the theme song. All that other bullshit I kind of tolerate. And then there's a closing song, which I enjoy. And I don't blame you, folks. You like the music. I like the music. We all like the music. Let's talk a little bit about this week. This week got away from me. And by this week, I mean today. And by today, I mean this year and this month. All of it. Time has escaped. Time has come today to tell me you should have done a show earlier. But I am I'm that guy who's a prisoner of his own fucking brain and skull and all that other stuff, and then alienating everybody by doing such things and trying not to be that person. And I don't want to bore you with it. See, that's the thing. If I would have done a full show, it would have been a lot of that turning a magnifying glass on myself and going, hey, here's what happened. Nobody wants to fucking hear that again, right? I shouldn't say that because I might do it tomorrow. That's right, tomorrow or later today. Because here's the deal. It is Thursday morning. I'm actually recording this. It's 4 in the fucking morning on Thursday. Normally, this show's already posted. I've got all my Facebook stuff done. I've jerked off. I've gone to bed. All of that is fine. Instead, I've sat here paralyzed, frozen in my apartment going, well, you really should do this. And I was going to do it, I thought I was going to do it Tuesday, and then I didn't, and then I was going to do it Wednesday. And I actually told David, and David's like, look, I can't do art, dude. I'm not, David had no art in him because I had no show for him to do art to. And who cares? So the point is, here's the deal. It's Thursday right now. You're listening to this. This is as close as it's going to get to a live fucking show because it is literally 4 in the morning Pacific time right now on Wednesday night, Thursday morning. And I'm recording this, and there's people sleeping. I'm sure Lou's asleep. He doesn't want to hear this. My other soccer-loving neighbors there in there. And there's winds whistling outside, maybe drowning me out, but perhaps not. The point is, I'm going to do a show. I just don't have it for you now. And so what I'm doing is I'm tap dancing as fucking fast as I can and giving you this load of bullshit and telling you, please give me a break. I'm going to have a show for you later today. But in the meantime, because in the morning, I know some of you are like, oh, Mike, we love hearing you in the morning. Nobody likes that. And nobody says that ever. I like to attribute things to you that aren't really true. Mike, we love you. We want to hear you in the morning. No, you don't. And you've never said that in a million years. Some of you have. That's a lie. Anyway, the point is, I want to give you some early morning me from the past. So I'll give you this chunk of me talking now, and it's going to lead directly into, oh my God, there's rumbling in the next door apartment. He's going to get up, he's going to knock on the wall, he's going to come over here and yell at me. It's going to be a terrible thing. So should I keep it? No, should I whisper? Should I just tell you guys this? All right, here's the deal. This is the problem. See, that I wait to do the show until late, and then it turns into this goddamn whisper fest. Which we should call this Whisper Fest. Maybe I'll put that in the notes. The point is, I can't whisper. How fucking annoying would that be if I whispered the entire goddamn show? Let's do a poll. This is, like I said, this is as close to live as it could possibly be. I should just call all you guys and fucking FaceTime you. Or I just do a live Facebook deal. You know what? I could do that. Although my hair looks fucking ridiculous right now because it's like the wind is so crazy outside. Yeah, that's what it is. The wind. Because I went out like a mime and let it blow all over the place as I walked into it. No, the point is, folks, it's 4 in the morning. Nobody's hair looks good at 4 in the fucking morning. Unless you're some sort of Korean lounge singer. Korean lounge singer? Yeah, Korean or singer in a Korean lounge or Korean lounge singer. Nationality or club? I don't know. Both. You know what? Fuck that. Both. If you're a Korean lounge singer or a singer in a Korean lounge, your hair looks terrific at this hour. However, mine does not. So fuck the Facebook Live idea. However, I'm going to give you a show from this day 7 years ago. How's that grab you? Right now, I'm going to stick it on the end of this. I'm going to talk a little bit here like I'm doing. And it's so funny because now I'm talking and I'm like, well, I should just do a fucking show. But it's already 4 in the fucking morning. It doesn't make any point. Not sense. And also, I got to... how are you still here? How are you still listening to this? Shut up, Mike. All right, so... The point is, here is a show I did 7 years ago this week, and you can enjoy this in the morning. And then today, I will record an actual show, and I will put that up later today, perhaps in the afternoon, perhaps in the evening. Because I'll tell you what, honestly, like I said, I'm gonna finish this. I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna do some social media stuff, and then I'm gonna jerk off and go to bed. I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna get up all refreshed. I'm going to go out running and lifting tomorrow, which I've been avoiding doing. I've been hiding. I've been doing that thing again. I got my dick knocked in the dirt because that's how I am. But my dick is now out of the dirt and out of the ash and everything else. And I'll tell you all about that later today when I do a show from the apocalyptic hellscape that Los Angeles has become. But for right now, let's go ahead and send you back 7 years. Let's time travel. Hold on, my computer's going to make a noise. We're sending you back to December 2nd, 2010 for this show, which was episode 36 of year 3. Now, again, this is only going to be up for today, and then I'm going to take it down and put a real show up later. So enjoy this. This is, you know what this is? This is like a palate cleanser. This is an amuse-bouche. It's more of an amuse-bouche. So if Bouche is out there, he's going to get fucking amused by this nonsense as I go ahead and give him my past and some of my present right now at 4:16 a.m. now. It's now 4:16 a.m. And here we go. December 2nd, 2010, episode 36, year 3. And I don't even want to give you the name of it. You know what? I'll tell you what. This is one of the rare episodes where the name was actually the last line of the actual show before the plugs. That's going to force you to pay attention, isn't it? No, it's not. You don't fucking care at all. You turned this off fucking 7 minutes ago. And I've only talked for 5.5. That'll tell you how bad you hated this. You turned this off in a minute and a half before it even arrived. All right, man. I'll see you guys later today.
Listen to me, motherfucker. I'm talking. I say horrible things sometimes because I think they're funny. My podcast is a verbal mosh pit because it's just me pinwheeling around. You don't know where the fuck I'm going to wind up, and I generally have no idea when it's going to end or start. I'm responsible for this whole goddamn thing. I want a little respect from you people. Hey, what's happening, Mike Schmidt, 40-year-old boy podcast, folks. Thanksgiving is over, right? It's over. We all have to face that fact. It was brought home to me in stark relief today, as if there were a spotlight shone on the fact that Thanksgiving is past. The final piece of pumpkin pie in my house, moldy.
Aww.
Yeah. It's a metaphor. It's a message for you, folks. Because here's what I like. I like pumpkin pie, but I like it enveloped in Cool Whip. I like not just with a dollop. Fuck a dollop. You know what, folks? Do me a favor. Go to your car right now and open up the back seat and let the dollop in, and then push the car into a body of water and let the dollop drown. Fuck dollops. All right? I don't need a dollop of anything. I don't need I don't want a scoop of sugar to make the medicine go down. I don't want a dollop of Cool Whip. None of that. Fuck you and your small measurements. What I want is I like an igloo of Cool Whip around my pumpkin pie, and that's not even a joke. To the point where Karen has invented a product. Karen, my wife, has invented. She called it pumpkin and snow. Is what she called it, because it looks like a baked Alaska. It is just a ball of white on the plate, and then when you slide your fork through, hello pumpkin pie, look at you lurking. Fantastic. That's what I like, because not only do I enjoy a fine dessert, but I like a nice surprise, folks. I don't know what's coming, because quite frankly, with pumpkin and snow, you could wind up getting anything at that point. It could wind up being sweet potatoes and snow, or some sort of like, oh my Christ, some like biscuit and snow. What if she put a biscuit in there? I don't know, but that's the whole fun of pumpkin and snow. I like to have a Cool Whip igloo on, and come on, I take it back. All right, I take it back about sweet potatoes and biscuits. What food could not be improved by a dome of Cool Whip over it? I don't give a fuck. I don't care what it is. Chicken livers, boom, done. Well, but yeah, look, you people don't like. I love chip. I'm a huge fan of chopped chicken livers. I had those this year for Thanksgiving. But yeah, moldy. You know what? Honestly, it was only like 4 spots of mold. If you cover it with fucking in the dome of Cool Whip, maybe I'm able to power that down. I could probably do that. Don't shake your head no, because I know I can do it. I ate much worse this Thanksgiving. I'll tell you that. What's up with your punching? I had it. Look, folks, we talked about Thanksgiving last week, but I'm going to talk about it again because that's what happened in the interval. You heard the show last Thanksgiving morning, but you don't know what happened after that. You don't know what kind of festival I walked into. Here's what I walked into, folks. I think I may have mentioned in last week's show that my good friend Lily Bunched Up does a hobo Thanksgiving in the park. And I was invited to said Thanksgiving, and I was invited the last two years, was it? Or just last year? I don't remember. And I unfortunately, I could not attend because, I value my time, and I don't like the park, and I don't like people. I mean, let's be honest with ourselves. There's a lot of things I don't like in that equation. I don't like hobos. I don't like the park. I don't like Thanksgiving. And quite frankly, I don't like you folks very much. So, which is a lie. This is fun. I will tell you this. I have people who listen to the show, and this is now a trend. This has happened like 4 times in the past 2 weeks. I have people writing to ask to take me out to dinner. Like, there were some people who were in town for Thanksgiving, and they wanted to do it, but I didn't get back to them in time, unfortunately, because they forget that I sleep during the day. People are like, oh, dude, this will be awesome. Let's do it. And then I answer them at 4:30 in the afternoon, and I'm like, yeah, okay, if you're still up for it. Too late. Made plans. Like a grown person. I don't have to climb into a crib and take a nap during the day like a fucking infant. We're real people with real jobs and real lives. We don't live fucking backwards, you goof. All right. So, but yeah. So I've accepted. There's there were two people. There were 5 people who asked, and 2 people I've accepted. Because what the hell? You know what I mean? Like, I wrote the guy. There's a guy from San Diego who's going to do it. He's like, hey man, my wife and I want to take you out to sushi, you and Karen, and let's do this. Pick a place. And I read it, and I wrote him back, and I was like, I don't know. And I've had other people ask too. You know what I mean? And I've written them and just said no, and said I don't know how monumentally awkward you don't think this will be, but.
Can I come film it?
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, it's like, sure. Look, folks, we all know just from the beginning of this podcast what a glorious person I am and how we would all benefit from spending any amount of time with me, particularly over an expensive sushi dinner that you would regret paying for later. But this guy in San Diego made me laugh because he wrote me and he's like, you know what, he listened to the episode. He said his wife listened to the one where unfortunately, I went to the Super Bowl party at Karen's boss's house. And then, she took off all of her clothes. And I had to go, all right, so yeah. Folks, that's somewhere in year 3 you'll find that. I forget the name of the episode. But he said he listened to it, and his wife was more entertained by, I think he said by his reaction or by your reaction, Lily's reaction, than the story itself. Like, he's not even sure if she heard the story. She just heard the laughing and thought it was just like, okay. Because every time I write people, I would just go, dude, because people will offer to take me and Karen out, and I'll just go, why do we have to suck our wives into this? I go, the fucking weirdness is going to be bad enough with me and you, but now you're adding another element of a woman who has no idea who I am and doesn't like me at all, and then whoever that guy's wife is. But I finally told Karen about the guy from San Diego, and she's just like, I go, would you do something like that? I go, because, honestly, to me, it just sounds funny now. Like, I've turned down a bunch of people. Why don't we, I think I'm going to say yes. And she's like, go ahead. I don't care. Because what does she care? She gets a fucking, uni shooter out of it, so she's thrilled. She's like, good. I get free sushi. Done. And so I wrote the guy back, and I go, look, I have no idea how fucking crazy weird this is going to be, but yeah, we're in. Because now it's just awkward poker. You know what I mean? It was like this guy came at me and he's like, hey, I got 2 pair. And I'm like, really, buddy? I got a fucking full house. I just got a full house of weird, and I just dropped it on you. And so he wrote back with a goddamn straight flush of weird. He's like, fine, done. And he's like, you know what? We want to do it. And I don't, who knows if that's, because I even wrote him, I go, look, I don't know what's going to happen here. I go, at the worst, you punch me and I get a show out of it. So our wives storm out and you and I get drunk. I mean, who knows? Some really odd. Now that's what my whole life is broken down to now, because I have no friends and I have no real people that I hang out with. My whole life is reduced to a series of social experiments. Whenever anybody asks me to do anything, in my head I just go, well, what could happen? Like because I don't, it's funny, I don't Twitter often enough, and I stopped blogging because I'm a fucking idiot, because I have this show where I talk for almost an hour and a half to 2 hours, and which is stopping, as we all know. I'm reining it in, folks. Maybe that might not be true, but I accept things now just because of the experience. Like Pat asked me, my friend Pat asked me, you guys know Pat Francis, you don't, or you do? Why do I say it like people know? I have a friend named Pat Francis, and he asked me what I did. All right, I'll get into this now. I'm jumping ahead. It's foolish. Well, this is part of Thanksgiving. So we went. All right. So I get invited to this hobo Thanksgiving. Well, first let me say what Pat asked me. Pat asked me. He's like, "Do you find yourself just doing things now to create shows? Like, do you have to do? Do you wind up thinking you should just do that because you'll get a show out of it?" And no, I really don't, because I mean, who wants these shows? Who wants? He's like, do you think you got to go punch somebody so you got something to talk about? And I go, you know what? I've joked about that. I go, but not now. I mean, it's funny. I wish podcasting was around when I was 24. Holy God. I mean, I would have lost some stories, but I would have been out creating more and more fucking stories. Hey, I set a dumpster fire this week. Done. I guess that maybe that's funnier when you tell it 20 years later, right? Yeah, it's much funnier. You don't want me being some fucking douchebag going, this is great, I punched a guy yesterday. No, there has to be a shame factor involved to make these stories entertaining. I have to have learned something from them. If I just came on here and I was just a malcontent who didn't fucking learn anything and just thought it was funny to be a dick all the time, then we got a problem. You know what I mean? You nod. I don't think you agree with that. No, you don't. You want me to be an evil jagoff. All right, so.
You
All
just
right.
are.
Yeah, exactly. Well, actually, I'm evil Jagoff in snow, which makes it that much better. If you surround my anger with a nice, again, a dome of Cool Whip, then everything's fine. Everything's fantastic. But yeah, it's so funny. My fridge is just, the detritus of Thanksgiving is still lurking. There's that, that smear of potatoes that's left, and then the bits of turkey mixed in with like stuffing with that congealed grease on the top of it. And the gravy skin. We don't even have gravy anymore. We have gravy skin. That's all that's left. We hung it from a clothesline. You just it's really a because I love Thanksgiving, but when it's over, you're just like, oh, what a shame, and you cling to it. I cling to it anyway. All right, so I did. We had Thanksgiving because this year I had Thanksgiving and I had Franksgiving, which I think I told you about last week. Because we had on Thanksgiving. Here's the thing: Karen was going to go to a movie. There's a movie called Burlesque, and my friend Lily Bunchtup is a burlesque producer. She's the producer of this show and also produces Burlesque. Not at the same time, unfortunately. That would make this show much more exciting. There you go. Boom, 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 boom. Folks, I just got some bare shoulder there. That was great. Flash anything else?
No.
You sure?
Positive.
All right. Again, it would make the show that much more exciting. I could encase them in snow if you wanted.
No thanks.
All right, pierce nipples in snow. So that sounds like a horrible like Kurosawa film, pierce nipples in snow. Just these seven samurai who are caught in the fucking snowstorm, and then the only person who can help them is a ghost with pierced nipples. All right, that doesn't sound like a Kurosawa film at all. That sounds like something that our buddy Guillermo del Toro would do. All right, so he's our buddy, folks. I don't know if you're new to this show. Guillermo del Toro and I are very close friends. We because we're both fascinated with Japanese culture and horror movies. All right. Speaking of Japanese culture, oh my God, chibi girls. Do you know what those are? I can't stop looking at them. I am a fan of chibi girls, but I don't know if. All right, here's the thing. All I know about chibi girls, I don't know if they're all anime, like, or if they started in anime. But I see them like I've. All right, here's what a chibi girl is. Here's my definition of what I know a chibi girl to be. That I've seen, my experience with them online. It's like. What is that too many qualifiers?
My experience with them online.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Well, because you can't experience them in real life because they don't exist. If they did, it would be fucking freaky, but also kind of awesome. All right, so here's the thing. Chibi girls, I think, are an anime thing, but I see them in real life. What people are doing with the photos, it's like a Photoshop trick. It's like if you were like naked, okay? Say you took a woman and she was like totally naked and posing, like any sort of not porn, but well, even porn, whatever, any naked hot chick. All right? And her body was normal, but then you made her head 3 times its normal size. Okay? And I can't stop staring at them. I am just fascinated by it. And again, of course, it started in Japan, which, most of your finer porn trends do, actually. If you want to go online and buy an octopus's used panties, boom, Japan. Which is great. Done. Fantastic. And by the way, an octopus's used panties can also be used as a soccer ball cover because it's got all the 8 different holes. All right, so chibi girls. I can't stop staring at chibi girls now, and I don't know if they were an anime, like they were actual animated figures, but the live action ones, like, because they're beautiful women and they're hot and they're like naked, but then they have these giant heads too, and they look awesome. It's like you're like, man, I would the sexiest fucking sports mascot you've ever seen in your life, like. It's like if the Philly Fanatic had a hot body, you know what I mean? Like, or if the San Diego Chicken and if you wanted to, anally bang the San Diego Chicken, like, because again, it's a hot naked girl, but then they swell her head up like 3 different sizes. It's awesome. God damn, it's hot. Again, let's be honest, folks. If you have the internet, regular sex doesn't do it for you anymore, or regular photos. Because I've actually found myself like looking. I'll go to Egotastic or something, and they'll have some Brazilian model or those page 3 girls in England. Look, I like Lucy Pinder as much as the next guy, but take your pants off, Lucy. All right, you've got great tits. Everybody loves your tits, but holy shit, everybody wants to see what you got in the basement. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. And I actually find myself, they'll say stuff like, there's this chick, Vicky Blows. She's a topless model in Britain, and but that's just it. She's a topless model in Britain. So you see her first set of pictures, you're like, I've seen all Vicky Blows has to offer as a topless model in Britain. But she keeps putting out topless photos of herself, and I want to go, dude, unless you draw a fucking face on them, they're not going to be any different, for Christ's sake. Yeah, you know what I mean? Unless you stall a horn and they honk when you push on them. Jesus fuck. Take your goddamn pants off, Vicky Blows. As far as I'm concerned, all you are is an incomplete fantasy at this point. I mean, you're moneymaker are your tits, and that's fine, good for you. But the rest of us want to see what else you've got working. After a certain point, so I actually skipped them. Like I find myself skipping chicks, and I'm like, why are you skipping? Gemma Atkinson or whatever. I mean, she's fucking hot. Look at her tits, and it's like, yeah, you look at her tits, but then you're like, I need to see. I got to see more of this. I'm sorry, but I mean, even though Lucy Pinder is truly the most beautiful creature God ever created, I'm gonna need to see a little more. That's terrible. All right. I mean, how many times can you show tits? I mean, it's like I have the internet. I've seen tits. I'm going to need to see you doing more with those tits. It's like when you see those girls. You ever see those girls who crush beer cans with their tits? Those girls they like smash. And I'm just like, yeah. Well, you know what? There's someone who took it to the next level. Good for you. There's someone who realized, you know what? I got big tits and people like them, but I got to do a trick with them, or else they're going to want me to take my pants off. And I'm not ready to take my goddamn pants off because it's a fucking jungle down there. I got to pay for all sorts of maintenance, so instead I'm going to fucking smash some Schlitz cans with my giant rack. Boom, done. Because honestly, if you can make your tits do something, then keep your pants on. I don't care, Lucy Pinder, that's fine. I don't know. But her tits are perfect, Lucy Pinder. Holy God. It's like, her tits, they're so perfect, they shouldn't even have nipples on them. They should have bows on them. I mean, it's just like, because you look at her tits and you're like, for me? Oh, Jesus Christ. Her tits are so perfect you want to paint them. I mean, they're just like that kind of just... And paint them white, quite frankly. Let's be honest. I mean, we all know that's coming. So then they're lovely breasts in snow. See, that's what they look like. They look like perfect. That's what they like. You know what? They look like Baby Bottle in snow because her nipples are they look like just perfect. Her nipples are. Wow. You just right there. It's kind of tits. If she was, from the 1800s, some guy would have wrote a sonnet about them. Her fucking breasts. That's exactly. They're so nice I can't even call them tits anymore. I have to call them breasts because they are breasts. Everybody else has got tits or whatever you want to call it, but she has breasts. Lucy Pinder. Oh boy. All right. So, you just want to put a baseball cap on them. I mean, they're so perfect. They look like little heads. All right. So she doesn't have to take her pants off, although it would be great if she did. And she will eventually. Because, I mean, don't you think all the page 3 girls eventually have to just... Because eventually you get bumped to page 7, and you're like, fuck, I got to get back to page 3. Fellas. I can't do a whistle, but she's spinning a thong on a finger. How the fuck did I get on Lucy Pinder's tits? Yeah. Thanksgiving, right? Right? We're all talking about Thanksgiving. That's what we're doing. So what happened on my Thanksgiving? I said I had Thanksgiving and I had Franksgiving. So Karen had plans. The movie Burlesque was coming out, and Lily was organizing an outing of women wearing boas, and they were all going to go and wear their feathers and watch Burlesque together en masse as a group. And so Karen wanted to go and said, we'll find out from Lily when they're going. So Lily finally told me, hey, we're going on Thanksgiving. And apparently I felt the need to inhale there. I don't know why. Why did I have a weird audible gasp there? On Thanksgiving. Am I winded? Am I winded from the tit show? I can't believe this. You know what it is? It's Lucy Pinder. It got me all fucking worked up. I'm like a hamster in a fucking wheel chasing. It's like a tit on a stick. It's in front of me and I'm a donkey chasing it. All right, so. Although I'm an ass man, I think. All right, whatever. Why would I even? Who cares? No one cares what I like. Huh? You just making fun of me? Yeah, exactly. We're doing a lot of talking here. I should give you a microphone. All right, so.
No.
Yeah, you don't. That's the problem. You don't want to be on microphone. Although, what would you do? Honestly, if you were on microphone, you would just fake laugh, and then you would try to talk, and I'd talk over you, because that's all I do is I fucking steamroll people. I'm an idiot. All right, so they're going to go to Burlesque on Thanksgiving, and I tell Karen, I go, well, look, if you wanted to, because Karen, I will tell you this, Thanksgiving for me, as we all know from last year, I like the traditional Thanksgiving of the cooking and all. That's fine. If it's told that we're going to have it. I don't care otherwise. I really don't. I mean, if Karen just is like, hey, dude, why don't we go out to dinner? I'll go, cool. But Karen likes to have leftovers, and she likes to do all that. So look, who am I to turn down a huge fucking dinner? I'm not. So every year I accommodate her. Yes, I accommodate her. Look, folks, I sacrifice, and I eat the perfect food that my wife makes every Thanksgiving. No, I told her, I go, look, if you want Thanksgiving, want to go with them, that's fine. Why don't we go to their whatever they do in the park, and Then I'll come home and crash, and then you can go to burlesque, and then the next day we'll have Franksgiving. Because that means we'll have a Thanksgiving on a Friday. So you take out the TH, put in an FR. Folks, I'm very creative. So Karen's like, all right, I'll go to burlesque, and we'll go to the hobo thing in the morning. Now, here's the problem, folks. I keep odd hours. We all know this. I've ruined my life, so I have to stay up all night, and then in the daytime, especially on Wednesday, because, all right, last Wednesday, I did the podcast on Wednesday. Today's Wednesday. I'm doing it now. And then what happens is at night, I have to do, an email blast, and I post to Facebook, and I post to Twitter, and then I answer emails, and not as many as I should. Folks, I realize I owe you emails. I know I owe en masse. I know I owe the entire community emails, and that will be rectified in the next few days. I had a lot of stuff going on in the next few days. But trust me, emails are on that agenda. All right, so I have to stay up, and then usually I go to bed at 9 or 10 in the morning. Well, hobo in the park starts at 11. Because that's when your average hobo does his best work in the park. Aren't they at night? Aren't they nocturnal? I thought hobos were nocturnal. They don't want to be up. Well, actually, they're not, because I see them in their blanket and dirty clothes cocoon at every bus stop in fucking Los Angeles. So, actually, that would be great if that was a cocoon for them. Wouldn't it be that and they emerge like a beautiful non-homeless person in the morning? That would be perfect. They're like cicadas. Like they burrow themselves into dirty clothes and blankets, and in the morning, hello, respectable businessman. Fucking A. That would be perfect. All right. I said fucking A. Hello, 1979. Why did I say fucking A? That's how enthusiastic I was. That's how psyched up I was about hobos turning into gentlemen. I said fucking A. From hobo to gentleman. Fucking A. All right. Folks, I'm feeling 7-Up. All right. It's funny, feeling 7-Up. I will tell you this: feeling 7-Up is there was a slogan of 7-Up back in the 70s and 80s, and that's what fucking made me just think of feeling 7-Up. And also because they used Mike Schmidt, the baseball player, in their billboards, and he was feeling 7-Up. And the billboard with Mike Schmidt feeling 7-Up is in Pink Floyd The Wall, the movie Pink Floyd The Wall, when there's like a big riot scene after a concert. And I'm going to see Roger Waters on Sunday. All right, so I don't know why that mattered to anybody. But that's what flew into my brain. I was like, fucking A, feeling 7-Up, Mike Schmidt, Pink Floyd The Wall, seeing Roger Waters on Sunday. All right, so there you go, folks. That's how my head works. So from hobo to gentleman in one night, encased in dirty clothes and blankets. Boom. God damn it, that's a perfect thing. All right. If only it were real. Lord, why can't you take care of it? If there's a God, why doesn't he do that? Just once. Just make a dirty clothes cocoon turn a hobo into a gentleman. All right, so what was I even talking about? So I'm up all night. Oh, that's what it is. I'm up all night because we're going to do hobos in the park in the daytime, which I don't get. I don't understand. Again, I think hobos should be at night. But it's fine. It's a potluck, and everybody's bringing their thing. So folks, instead of going to bed and even catching a few hours, I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stay up all night long and then go to the hobo thing. Because apparently I wasn't worried that I would hate it enough. I had to make sure I was dead fucking tired during the event as well to really seal the deal. And so I did, man. I stayed up all night, and I finished all my email stuff, and then I was hanging out waiting for Karen to wake up. And then it's that weird, little kid at the Christmas morning thing where I want to wake her up, but I don't want to wake her up because I want to respect the fact that she wants to sleep, and also because I don't want her to fucking wake me up because she does it all the goddamn time. Dudes, listen. I have to sleep during the day, and now because my wife's been laid off of her job, she's home during the day. So I've mentioned this, where she comes in and she'll just stare at me while I'm sleeping. Oh, God. Well, luckily she stopped that now. But instead what she does is, look, when I come home, she's asleep. I will turn the fan on high in the bedroom so she can't hear me, and I will gently close the door after I, stroke her hair and I kiss her face. Yes, I'm very nice. Which is great, except for the fact that my wife comes in like, the little kid in Where the Wild Things Are with a fucking pots and pans hat on. Clang, 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 clang. What the fuck? I'm trying to sleep. We have a closet door that makes a noise that sounds like a Holocaust train. I mean, it sounds like the squealing breaks on Jews being brought to their death. It's the worst, because you open the door and it's just like this, yay! I can't even explain it. It's not even like fingernails on a chalkboard. It's like a child being slaughtered with a chalkboard. That's what it sounds. It's the worst sound ever. And she comes right. I'm asleep. I'm sort of asleep, half asleep, trying to sleep. And look, I can sleep through a goddamn bomb. I'm not gonna lie to you, folks. I have that fucking capacity in me where there's just an off switch inside me that boom, it happens. I'm out. But then she tests that theory by coming in and fucking just stomping around like a pony in the room. Stop! Let me sleep. Apparently, I'm so mad I'm popping my peas on this sentence. Stop! I'm trying to sleep. Idiot. So God, how did I spin into that? So I didn't sleep. So this time it's my turn. So like she's in bed and I go, well, I can go stare at her. And she loves the parade, so I want to wake her up and say, hey, there's a parade on. But I don't. I just back off. So she wakes up and I look, I start to feel it after a while because I've been up for like 23 hours. Okay. And I'm not even at hobo Thanksgiving yet. I'm still in hobo preparation mode. So I'm getting my fingerless gloves on. I'm smearing eye black on my face. I'm building my knapsack, and I'm shitting in my pants. I'm doing all the things that hobos do. So I'm getting ready for the big event. And Karen is going to make macaroni and cheese to bring and Brussels sprouts. So Karen actually finally wakes up and gently wipes the sleep from her eyes. And then she goes in and starts to cook. And I'm just sitting there waiting to leave. Because then, look, times, you get that weird thing. I'm sure you've done it, folks. If you've stayed up late or stayed up long hours, you get that weird, I'm drunk but I'm not drunk feeling. Where you're kind of floating in ether, like everything's kind of happening, and you don't understand, like you can't control it, like you're watching your life happen as it goes by. So I start to get that feeling, and I'm like, this isn't good. I still got to go to the park and ask for quarters. So Karen's cooking, and finally she finishes cooking, and the thing is supposed to start at 11. So Karen starts her Brussels sprouts too late, and everything's happening, and then we wind up leaving. We didn't leave the house till like 11, and the party was at Griffith Park, and party is a strong word. The gathering. I'm gonna call it. You know what? I'm gonna call it the gathering of the Bummelows. That's what it was. It was the gathering of the Bummelows. Because it's a bunch of people in weird costumes and awful music. It's just like gathering of the Juggalos, except they're bums. So Karen and I, we head to Griffith Park, and all right, this is my wife. I love my wife. Okay, look, I don't know where the fuck to go at all. I have a GPS in my car. There's a lady who lives inside my car who tells me where to drive. So Karen's like, all right, well, I know where we're going. We're going to Griffith Park. I said, okay, well, that's like in Los Angeles, like all the way on the other side of L.A. or wherever. Because to me, Griffith Park is sprawling. I mean, as far as I know, it's gigantic. It's over by the Greek Theater, I think. It's huge. So Karen's like, no, it's right by our house. I'm like, why? How is it right by our house? Fine. I go, you're driving. Which is good anyway because I'm on another planet. I mean, I'm literally, I'm floating in a cartoon soap bubble. That's the kind of attention span I'm bringing to this whole extravaganza. I'm just floating. I'm out of it. So Karen goes to drive. She starts driving. She gets on the 134 and I go, all right, did you print out the directions? She's like, no, I know where we're going. I go, where? She goes, Griffith Park. I go, great. Where in Griffith Park? And she goes, Lily said it was somewhere by a carnival or something.
No.
And I said, fantastic. Those don't sound like specific fucking directions to me, quite frankly. And look, I recognize I'm a terrible guy, all right? Because I mean, I'm on my final nerve. I'm at my wit's end. I've been up forever. I'm going to a place that I quite frankly don't want to go. My Thanksgiving's been ruined. I'm about to go into the park with a bunch of strangers. And folks, I'm not even comfortable around people I know. All right, now I'm gonna go eat in the park with strangers. And this is an unfortunate harbinger of what's about to happen in my life. We all know. Everything is falling apart. So in 6 months, believe me, there's a very good chance I will be eating cold food in the park with strangers. Not by choice. So I guess I should have looked at it as, homeless practice. That's what it was for me. It was practice for my 2011. So, but of course I become enraged. Not enraged, but it's just like fuming. When I get enraged, I get quiet. And I just sit there with clenching my teeth and fucking staring. And Karen's like, relax, I know where we're going. Relax. But here's the thing, folks. My wife, her mantra is relax. Whether she knows what she's doing or she doesn't, she's just like, we're going to figure it out and it's not a problem. And I guess that's a great way to go through life. But I can't. I'm not that person. I need to have control and I need to know what's going to happen and I need to know that everything's being taken care of in the right way. Not this la-di-da, we'll just drive till we see smoke. I mean, what the fuck? You got to be shitting me. See, because here's the thing. We went shopping for Thanksgiving, okay? We went to the store and we were trying to buy stuff. And this is going to sound retarded, and I don't care. But this is, all right. My wife and I are buying things, and we're running down the list. You get everything you need for the potatoes, and the sweet potatoes, and the turkey, and the stuffing. And I said, what about pie and Cool Whip? Do you have all the Cool Whip you need? And she's like, yeah. She goes, we already have one in the fridge, and I'm going to get another one. And I said, well, that's not enough. Are you sure you have one in the fridge that's good? And she's like, yeah, it's fine. And I said, Karen, listen to me. We're standing in the store at the Cool Whip house. We're right by Cool Whip house. What's wrong with grabbing 4 Cool Whips and throwing 3 in the freezer just in case? Just in case the one in the fridge doesn't fit all of our Cool Whip needs. They're going to be closed on Thursday. You don't want to go running around to fucking Arabian liquor stores in the middle of the night and having to buy Cool Whip written in Hebrew, all right? We don't want to do that. We're standing by the fucking Cool Whip house. Why can't I just grab 4 Cool Whips, put them in the goddamn cart, and bring them home? Is that going to be so tough? And my wife's just like, look, listen, I have the Cool Whip. It's fine. We've got it. And this was Tuesday night, all right? I said, okay, fine. And we buy the groceries and we go home. And there's a Cool Whip in the fridge that's like half full. And then she's got another Cool Whip. And I said, look, you're not listening to me. Yes, there's a container. We bought 1 container of Cool Whip. And she goes, yes, I bought 1 container of Cool Whip. I go, great. Are you making fluff? Now, what fluff is, folks, is fresh fruit in Cool Whip. And she goes, oh, yeah, that's right. I said, uh-huh. So you're going to need this new container of Cool Whip for the fluff, right? And she said, yeah. And I said, so now I'm stuck, my pie, whatever my pie is going to be, I now have old Cool Whip from that's not Thanksgiving Cool Whip. That might be Labor Day Cool Whip. That might be fucking Lincoln's birthday Cool Whip. I don't want that on my Thanksgiving food. I can't mix up holiday condiment with other holiday food. They gotta fucking match. Why can't I buy Thanksgiving Cool Whip for Christ's sake? You're gonna stick me with fucking Arbor Day Cool Whip on my Thanksgiving pie? I don't fucking think so. We were right there. We were there by the goddamn freezer. They had Cool Whip galore. They actually had a sign, Cool Whip galore, on sale. And she's like, well, it's okay. I'll just run to the store tomorrow. Yes, you will. But we could have done it today. We were standing right there. What if some guy comes in? Honestly, what if some fucking monster, not unlike myself, comes in and eats all the Cool Whip? He just fucking buys it all. Some fucking alien, just something happens. The freezer breaks in every Ralph's, in every fucking community, and we have no more Cool Whip. Now we're stuck with fucking Arbor Day Cool Whip. Is that that's what I have to eat? And this is me, folks. This is who I am. But again, I don't think I'm fucking wrong. I'm wrong for going to the extremes that I'm going right now when I'm talking about it. But Jesus Christ, why couldn't we buy extra? Who the fuck cares if we have extra Cool Whip in the freezer? Who cares? Let me buy it. And look, I recognize I could very easily buy it. I could have thrown it in the cart. But there's also that part of me that wants to have this fight later that goes, ha-ha! I fucking told you we only had 4th of July Cool Whip. What the fuck? Why aren't you listening to me? Doesn't anybody ever listen to me? I have no power in my life, folks. None. I have no power about my employment. I have no power in my future. I have no power about my goddamn dessert topping. None. And I'm going to strangle everything to fucking death. So she had to go the next day and get Cool Whip. And I told her, I said, and she bought Cool Whip. We usually buy Cool Whip free, like fat free. She had to get Cool Whip light because they were out of Cool Whip free. Exactly. They weren't the day before. But it doesn't matter. Cool Whip is cool, but all tastes the same. And I shouldn't care. I should not care. But this is when it bleeds in, where I'm just like, why are you doing this? Do you do this specifically to me? Is that what you're doing? Because then we're driving around looking for the carnival. We're hoping. I'm hoping to like put my head out the window and hear the strains of a Jew's harp, and it's going to lead me to the fucking hobo hoedown in the middle of the goddamn park. Fuck. So we get into the park. She's driving around looking for the carnival, just turning left, turning right. No discernible plan. Just aimlessly wandering through the park. So quite frankly, it's fitting. We are hobos. We are hobos on this Thanksgiving, just wandering aimlessly through the park, looking for our goal, looking for anything, searching for our future. Left, right, this, that, and finally I just go, you know what? I'm calling Lily. I'm just going to call her and find out where they're at. She's like, okay, go ahead. Just send her a text or something. And so I sent a text, and it was so funny. I look at the phone. I have Karen's phone, and I will tell you later on, I got home, and I saw 2 calls from Lily. Like, where are you guys? Like, what's happening? And then they were just before I sent the text. And I said, all right, now we're driving and we're looking, where's this carnival you talked about? And Lily's like, no, it's a carousel. And I just looked at Karen, like I didn't want to get mad about it, but I wanted to go, was any C word applicable in this case? We're going to drive around looking for caramel corn. Is that going to happen? Country Fried Chicken. Is that a Coco's? We're going to look for a Coco's. The party's right by a Coco's. It's by a Country Time buffet. I mean, what? Honestly. Anything with a C in the beginning. Holy God. So I said to her, I go, you know what? It's by a carousel, Karen. And she's like, oh, okay. And then we're driving and we see a playground. And then Lily's like, oh, you can look for Eddie's car and these different things. And so finally we come around a bend and then there's the playground. But then we got to go down 2 ramps through a parking lot. And we come around the corner and I go, Eddie's car, Eddie's car. And at this point, it's like, it's in the distance. Like, I can see it. I wouldn't have fucking cared if we'd have just hopped the curb and 4-wheeled just so I can quit making aimless turns. And my wife's just like mooning face. La, 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 happy Thanksgiving. Oh, my God. Park. I'll run. And look, I recognize I'm a misanthrope. Okay, I get all that. But Jesus, fuck, is it frustrating. So we finally come around the corner. There's the cars. Everybody's there. And I see just this gathering of the bummelows. I'm absolutely right. Because these people have all... And look, they're lovely people. And I know them and I've met them. And they're all terrific. And it was nice of them to even invite me to this shebang, which is great. I'm very happy. But I can tell you that in the shadow of the carousel was the greatest Thanksgiving abomination I may have ever stumbled upon in my life. I look out and I just see Lily dancing by herself in white overalls with pigtails. I think she had pigtails. And she's just dancing by herself by the picnic table and like kind of I hear her just brassily like laughing and loud. And I don't know. I don't know if she's just laughing at her fate. Like finally she looked around and went, "Holy fuck. I can't believe this happened. Oh my God." So we park and I walk up with macaroni and cheese and Brussels sprouts because that's what Karen made. And they got the food out and I will say this, they had like a really neat little oven system where they had, what was it? Was it wood chips or charcoal in a pot?
There was wood chips, and then we also had the sterno oven.
All right, yeah, not the sterno, it was the wood chips in that like tray, and it was really hot, and you could actually keep food hot on top of it. But by the time we got out there, folks, this food had been cooked and picked through by normal people who are eating, which is fine. I get that. I mean, as I drove around looking for the carousel, these hobos were in feasting, and they're good. Good for them. You've got to replenish your strength for begging later in the cold before you climb in your cocoon and emerge as a wonderful wing-tipped man. So I'm watching them, and we pull up, and I'm warily walking up, and I'm half asleep. I don't know where I'm at. I'm still, trying to not fume over how long it took, and Karen's just all happy. Yay! And we walk up, and then everybody's in costume. There's a guy he's actually dressed like a bum with a knapsack, and then there's a guy who's dressed like a dandy. And Mr. Snapper's there. He's a good guy, but he's dressed in like a old timey clothes. Everybody's dressed in old timey clothes except me. I'm dressed in the clothes of a guy who hasn't been to bed and who can't understand people in old timey clothes. So and it was lovely. I was very excited to be invited, and it was very nice of them to ask me to be there. I'm not savaging what they do; it's their tradition. It's like if I brought them to my house for 8 pounds of Cool Whip and board games, and they were like, "Fuck you, dude! This is horrible." I'm not shitting on it. It was fine. It was just that for me, I'm not one for sing-alongs. Look, I do a podcast alone. All right. Like fucking John Cusack said in Grosse Point Blank, lone gunman. I'm alone. That's the point. So I show up and I'm not bad at gatherings. I mean, I do okay. But here's another thing I will tell you. There's another level to my participation in this. These people know me. Some of them listen to this show, and some of them know me from Lily's burlesque show. They've seen me on stage and things like that. So they are all expecting me to show up and destroy it. They all, and it makes me sad. That I've carved. This is the niche I've carved out for myself, and I mean, unfortunately, this is what I have. I can't. It's nobody's fault but mine. But these people expect me to come in and just fucking Don Rickles the entire fucking thing. There's actually a video clip Lily showed me online of them with the highlights of the actual, you can see them all singing and dancing. They've got their fucking Emmett Otter's jug band Thanksgiving, and they got, people are playing spoons, and they got a squeeze box and several ukuleles, and they're singing Big Rock Candy Mountain. And in the background, all you see is just a fat guy with blurred vision staring into the distance, wondering where his future went. And Lily points at it. She goes, "Look at you! You're having such a horrible time." And I'm like, "No, I was not having a horrible time. It's just I don't know what to do with those. I barely know how to talk to people in real life. Now you've thrust me in the middle of a play. I don't know how to fucking react. I'm wearing normal clothes and expecting it. And these people are all wearing costumes. I don't know how to deal with that. I barely know how to deal with normal people. So I fucking." So then there's a point like 3 minutes into this clip, and they're all singing literally, and I'm not even joking. They're singing old like coal mining standards. That's the whole point of this hobo Thanksgiving. They bring food from the 20s, and then they all, which by the way I should have brought the Cool Whip out of my fridge because apparently it was from Truman's election. So. They all do their thing, and they're eating, and then they sing. They actually have sheet music, and they stand in a circle, and one of them plays a cowbell, and they play ukuleles, and they sing old standards, while other people look around and go, "What the fuck is happening over there?" Which is fine. It's their deal. And I don't want to be the guy who comes and they expect him to carve it up. And so there's a point where they're actually singing on this video, and in the middle of it, Andrew looks and goes, "Schmidt, look at Schmitty. He has no idea why the fuck he's even doing here." Is that what he said?
Something like that.
Or he's having the worst fucking time in the world. And it's like, and Lily, the whole time I'm there, she keeps apologizing. She's like, "I know this is a dumb tradition, but it's what we do." And I'm like, you don't need to. I'm a guest. I'm a fucking guest here. You don't need to explain yourselves to me, for Christ's sake. I'm here to have a good time. I guess, sort of, maybe. Actually, I'm here as a social experiment. I'm here to see what other people do to have a good time. I'm here to watch my friends have a good time, and hopefully I can get a handful of turkey out of it. It was just crazy. So I'm sitting there at the picnic table, and they're singing, and then in the distance we see a coyote. Dudes, this is in the park, and it's like, and this is going to sound awful. I see the coyote, and look, we all know my experiences with wildlife. It may have been actually the same coyote. Like he may have just tracked me down. He's my nemesis. But I saw that coyote, and honestly, he fit into this party a lot more than I did. Because I'm sure he walked out and just went, "Oh, look, those people are enjoying themselves and singing some songs. I wish I had some food." Whereas I was like, "Jesus Christ, why the fuck are these idiots singing all these songs? I wish I had some food." Trust me, the coyote fit in a lot more than I did. Because you know why? Because the coyote was probably thinking, "Wow, this is weird. What's going on?" But I smell food. You know what I was thinking? Fuck, I wish that coyote would come over here and tear somebody apart. That would be fucking hysterical. Oh my God, if that coyote just came over and was like, that's how I think, because I think that would be interesting and fun. If a coyote ran over and just snatched up a baby and ran into the woods, then we got a party. In fact, that's on me, because I controlled the situation at that point. I should have called the coyote over. You know what I should have done? Here's how I solve all of it. All right, here's exactly how I should have solved all of it. Not only do I get the coyote involved, but I get myself devolved from the party. I should have just laid down and presented my neck. That fixes everything. That gets me out of it. It makes it interesting. It gets the coyote involved. That's a goddamn Thanksgiving. You know what I should have done? I should have just laid down, presented my neck, put a nice dome of Cool Whip right on top of it for him.
Did you know the 4-year-old boy got arrested for punching a monkey?
You're listening to The 4-Year-Old Boy, and coming up next, The Velvet Rope. Let Big James and Chewy give you a peek behind the punching curtain.
The hell are people doing picketing outside?
Oh, gee, what happened last night?
No, I heard nothing.
You know the guy, Nikki's friend?
The blind guy?
Yeah, what's his name? The guy.
Wallace.
Yeah. I always let him in because he's a nice guy. I don't know why, a blind guy wants to get in, but whatever. I let him in, no problem.
Yeah?
Last night, though, he shows up, he shows up with a fucking CNI dog. You know one of them dogs?
He's a blind guy.
Yeah, he wants to get in the club with the dog. I said, you can't fucking come in the club. It's a fucking dog. You can't come in the club. So he starts getting pissed off, he starts getting mad,
A pissed off blind guy?
Yeah, and the dog's starting to get mad. The dog's barking at me because I guess they kind of sense that thing,
Oh, yeah.
So the guy's getting worked up, and it's getting worked up, and then next thing I know, goes for me. Just goes for me.
You're shitting me.
No, so you know what I do?
What'd you do?
One punch. Knock him out.
No
One fucking
way. You
right
fucking
out.
knocked him out?
Out.
You
Cold.
fucking knocked out what? So what is this, like National Association for the Blind is out there picketing now?
No, it's Peter. I fucking knocked out the dog.
Your name's always on the list for the Velvet Rope on the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network.
Fucking beagle.
I'm assuming I won't be invited to Hobo Thanksgiving next year. I don't. I think any event that you talk up and you end by saying it would have been improved if I would have been killed by a wild animal, the hosts of that party are not going to have you back.
We're bringing Karen back. The Brussels sprouts were great.
Oh yeah, they were good. Sure, why not?
So was the mac and cheese.
So the burning of that bridge with the Hobo Thanksgiving was brought to you by Bob L. Bob L. This is Bob L's second time donating or sponsoring, so thank you, Bob L. And also the absolute torching of that bridge to the Hobo Thanksgiving was brought to you by Janet B. So thank you, Janet B. and Bob L. for your sponsorships there. That was really nice of you. I don't know what to call it: sponsorship, donation, gift. I don't know, friendliness. Who knows? So I look, I got through it. All right, that's the bottom line. I sat there and then and the food had been out for a while, so Karen's food was great because it was hot. We brought it right there, but we were late. So I mean, what do I expect? I can't expect things to, sure, baked goods were dry and things weren't. Everything was fantastic. Well, again, why am I shitting on an event that I was invited to as a friend? I'm so stupid. So let me put it this way: as crazy as the Hobo Thanksgiving was, I at least got to leave afterwards. Like I got to take off. My wife got sucked into the world of going to the movie Burlesque. Now, Karen wanted to see Burlesque, and she was excited to go with this group of people. But here's the thing that she didn't understand, and I found out later. I sort of knew. Lily and her friends are all burlesque dancers, so they were going to see this movie, ironically.
Yes.
Okay. They weren't going to see Burlesque because they were like, wow, this is going to be great. Christina Aguilera and Cher. They were like, I can't believe they made a shitty movie about the thing we love. And what cracks me up is Karen told me about, that they went there and that they were loud and they're all wearing, they're still wearing their hobo costumes, I think, some of them. And they were, Karen said she looked around. There were people in the theater, there were other people in the theater who basically wanted to murder them. And I do a show here where I talk about when I go to the movies. The thing that I hate more than anything at the movies is people talking or making a spectacle of themselves in the movies. Thank God I didn't go to Burlesque. Cause, look, I even hate the movie Burlesque, but I would have been more angry at the crowd if I'd have sat there. Karen told me they snuck in wine. Did you guys sneak in wine? Like jars of wine?
Did.
Oh.
We didn't. She did. She brought in the juice. No one else did.
I heard there was wine snuck in. I heard there was like
did.
ironic yelling and I was just like, Karen's telling me about it. And Karen, it was funny because Karen's nice. She wasn't like it was awful. She's like this. She was just giving me a report. And the more she's talking about it, I'm getting my stomach like clenching hearing about it. Going, thank God I wasn't there. Thank God I wasn't there. I couldn't have dealt with it. I'm just so I'm horrible at that sort of thing. All right, so. But yeah, I heard that you saw it. Ironic. It just whatever. Why am I even bringing it up?
I yelled at the guy that jumped the line?
No, I didn't hear that part.
I guess some people don't want to stand in line, especially those of us who are crippled who have to wait in line and can't get into the theater. But that's okay. If you need to jump in front so that our whole party can't sit together because you're so important. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that guy at that guy's looking around for a coyote at that point. He's just like seriously.
Later on in an attitude.
To go see
Like,
Burlesque?
really? Yeah.
He was going to see that?
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like there'd be a lot of testosterone floating around that theater, I got to be honest. And Mr. Snapper went, too. I heard he got sucked into going, why? What is that guy doing? Jesus. That's the nicest man on earth, that guy, because he goes along with all those schemes, all that, he winds up dancing in a burlesque show, and he has a... Oh, awful. All right, well, he's still a nice guy. But
Lead ukulele.
yeah, he was. He would lead ukulele. The best part is, like, nobody there was good at any of those instruments. Like, it was just, because that's what hobos do. Hobos just plunk away with a hat in front of them, hoping you'll give them change. Jesus, God. Yeah, I'll give you some change. I'll change this entire fucking thing around and we'll all go home and have a real Thanksgiving. Jesus, horrendous. All right, so, bridge just burning in the background, horrible. I have no friends, folks, and it's no secret why not. Because all I do is shit on it. Hey, speaking of burning bridges and not having friends, I did the Podcastathon the other day. Jimmy Pardo and the people at Never Not Funny do a Podcastathon where they do a 12-hour podcast and they raise money for Smile Train, which is a great charity. If you have not donated yet to Smile Train, please go and donate. They're fixing people's mouths all over the world. They're going in and cutting them open, or no, they don't cut them open. They stitch them together. They give them a new mouth. Yeah, they do that. Because there are people out there who have they have a coyote mouth. They have like a crazy coyote mouth. They have their palates have clefted. I don't know. It is a cleft palate, right? Or is it just a cleft? I don't know what it is. Whatever it is, it looks like they ate an axe for dinner. So I mean, it's like they need to get their mouth fixed, and Smile Train takes care of it. They do the business, and Jimmy. It's an amazing story that Jimmy and Pat independently decided to give money to Smile Train like within a week of one another, and then came to each other with the idea. It's crazy. So they decided to have the Podcastathon, and they raise money. And what it is, it's a 12-hour podcast where they have special guests, and then me. Now, they did it last year, and I was not invited to participate, but that didn't stop me from showing up. And, again, as we all know, I do things to get a show out of it, so I got a show out of it. Idiot. Can't control myself, folks. So, but this year, I was invited to be a part of it, which was great. And so I went down to the Podcastathon on Friday night. And I was on at 5 in the morning, so it was late, which for me it might as well be noon. I mean, honestly. And that was the thing, as Jimmy said to me, he wrote me to ask, I was like, dude, I'm up late, so I'm ready whenever you need me, but if you need me late, that's fine. So then I got the email, you're on at 5:10 a.m. And I'm like, of course, I mean, that's fine. And he and I were talking about it, and he's like, dude, that's like the second to last thing. We'll be dead at that point, so we need like a shot in the arm. We need you to come in and have some energy. And I'm like, yeah, I can do that. That's fine. I was just happy to be asked. Fuck, what do you need me to do? Juggle saw blades? I'm in. Done. So I get planned. I wound up watching it on the computer at home, and I watched. They had amazing guests. Tom Dreesen was on, and Andy Richter. They had all these people on, and it's just nice to be asked to be involved and be a part of that. That's great. So I make a decision. I'm like, I was trying to think of something to do. So I was going to bring a donation to Smile Train, but I was going to get a novelty check made, like a giant, big, like golf tournament check. So the day before I'm supposed to go, well, not the day before, because the day before is Thursday. So I called Wednesday, Kinko's, which, by the way, is no longer Kinko's. If you find, like, Google Kinko's, it's FedEx Office or something like that. And I don't even know why that puzzles me. But it just happened so quick. Like, I mean, it was Kinko's. Everybody, because Kinko's was like, hey, give me a Kleenex, or hey, let's get a Coke. It just was this shorthand to go get copies made. It's like, instead of like a Xerox machine, you know what I mean? Let's go to Kinko's and use the Xerox. Well, now you got to go to FedEx office and get a copy made. I mean, it's like everything's changed. The world's upside down, folks. This is what happens when you don't do anything except work all night. Like I work these late hours. And I'm not even joking. I drove the other day, and we went to what street? I can't even remember the fucking street it was. But all of a sudden we're driving, and there's a high school. I'm like, where the fuck did that come from? That's how out of it, folks. That's how out of it I am. And how centrally located my life is. If I go anywhere out of my comfort zone, I'm like, Jesus Christ, they built a skyscraper? Horrible. So Kinko's is now FedEx office. So I call the guy, and I'm on the phone with him for 25 minutes because I keep saying what I want and what I need to do, and he's explaining the possibilities. And every time he's saying it, there's a fee for that. Well, there's a fee for ink, there's a fee for this, and a fee for enlarging, and a fee for corkboarding, and a fee for, I'm waiting, honestly, for an operator to come on and go, please deposit 50 cents for the next 4 minutes. Because the fees are fucking piling up in this goddamn phone call. By the time I finished talking to him, the novelty check that I would have wanted to get was like $175. And at that point, so then in my head I go, well, I could get that, but then what would be funny is it would be to Smile Train, I would actually just write 000 on the check and go, look, I was going to make a donation, but I can't because the fucking check cost me 175 bills. I'm out. You know what? Maybe you can send this to someone with a cleft palate and they can hide behind it. That's about the extent of my contribution to Smile Train at this point. So I shine the novelty check idea. So I'm trying to think of something that I could do. So I'm like, you know what I got to do? I got to buy donuts for everybody in the fucking building. And I'm like, I could pull that off. So I made some phone calls. I called like regular donut house, which by the way, don't ever call a donut house. If you can call it Krispy Kreme because Krispy Kreme's like a business, and they have live human beings picking up the phone. But any other fucking donut house in the world is just, two Mexican guys rolling dough all night, staring at the ringing thing on the wall. I mean, like, they have no idea what it is. They think it's an alarm to make more donuts, so they just speed up their rolling. I mean, they got no fucking clue what's happening. They just hear a fucking bell go off, and they're praying that it's not immigration charging in to send them back to fucking Donutico. So, I don't know. I tried to go with Mexico and Donut Mexico, and I could have gone Mexinut, but I went Donutico on the fly. Because then I called not Winchell's, but I called what the hell's it called? It's right by my house. They called a few of them, and finally, they picked K. Like they they don't know how to. They have no English at all, and I mean, literally, they know hello and cruller. That's it. So trying to talk to them is a fucking tragedy. I'm talking about getting a discount on, because I got to buy 1,000 donuts. And finally, I just called Krispy Kreme because that was my first instinct anyway. But it was one closer to my house. I went with them, so I'll call Krispy Kreme, and I talked to Laura and I talked to another person, and I say, look, I need this, and they go, well, you got to buy 14 dozen to get a discount. And I said, all right, well, I don't think I need 14 dozen. That seems high because I assume at the podcast there's only going to be like I'm assuming there's going to be like 100 people, if that. You know what I mean? Maybe 75, maybe 50, because I knew the theater they were having it in. Maybe 20, maybe 10. Stupid. So I'm on the phone and I finally hash it out with Krispy Kreme where I'm like, all right, well, I'll order 10 dozen donuts. And so I ordered the donuts on the phone, and I place the order, and I hang up. And I should say Karen did it. Karen was the one who did all the ordering. She hung up, and I go, well, don't they want me to pay for it over the phone? She said, no. They said, you're fine. And which... That might explain why Krispy Kreme is failing, because you got a guy on the phone ordering 10 dozen donuts. Make him fucking pay for it over the goddamn phone. This could be a Thanksgiving prank. Because you're all familiar with that, right? The day after Thanksgiving, it's Black Friday, which means you call donut houses and order tons of donuts and don't pick them up. Stupid. So, I ordered the donuts. I go to pick them up at like 4 in the morning. Oh, and I also did this. I should tell you this. I brought the closing theme of the podcast, of my podcast, the song that you'll hear at the end here that you always hear every week. I burned it to a disc, and I used it as a fucking audio cue to bring me on stage. Like a ridiculous wrestler. Like I had, because I remember I talked about how it would be great if I had like my own theme music everywhere. Fuck it. I brought my own. Goddamn theme music. Like 5 in the morning. Who cares? Nobody's going to notice. And then I went to Krispy Kreme to get the donuts, and Greg, very fine man, was there. First of all their doors are locked. You can only go to the drive-thru, but he was like, come on in. He took me through a passageway with keys, and he gave me 10 dozen donuts. He gave me the discount, didn't care about the 14 dozen rule, gave me that discount. Yeah, it was great. And, I loaded them in the car, went down to the fucking theater, and it was awesome. Brought in the donuts and did a little surprise, came in with my music. It was genius. I was really excited to be asked to be there. So then I hung out afterwards. They raised like $29,000 for Smile Train. It was retarded, and they're getting more every day still. And then afterwards we hung out, and it was really nice because a lot of people wanted to meet me and meet Jimmy and everybody. So I was shaking hands and talking to people, and it was neat. And then at the end of it, I'm talking to Jimmy, and he goes, "Hey, you got to do me a favor." He goes, "Can you give Pat a ride home?" Because Pat had come right from London. He literally had been in London for like 5 days and came from the airport to the podcast-a-thon. Like he flew home early from London. He was, because he knew he was going to anyway. But he arranged it so he would get picked up at the airport and brought right to the show. So he hadn't even been home yet. And he's like, "Can you bring Pat home?" And Pat had done some drinking too, I should tell you that, during the show. But he sobered up by the time I got on stage, which I was happy about because I don't want to go up there with drunk Pat. That's not fun. I like regular Pat. But drunk Pat in the middle of the show, he got a little surly for like 2.5 hours. He got surly with every guest, and I'm like, watching it home on the computer, I'm like, Jesus Christ, Pat's gonna take a poke at somebody. This is crazy. Or someone's gonna take a poke at Pat. So I said, yeah, I can take Pat home. So, I never care about that sort of thing. Like this is going to sound dumb. I'm happy to be with my friends always because I don't ever get to see anybody or do anything. So fuck, if he would have asked me to drive Pat back to London, I probably would have done it. I was like, yeah, we'll drive to the coast, hop in a paddle boat, we're in. So I said, yeah, I'll take Pat home. So then we're talking, we're hanging out, they're rolling cables, doing whatever they're going to do, and there's a guy in the like still in the audience, like because other people were kind of drifting out and leaving, but there was a guy sitting in the audience, and I noticed him, and I didn't say anything, but he wasn't going anywhere. He was just still sitting there, and I was wondering if he was waiting to get a signature from Jimmy or what he was doing. So time goes by, I'm on stage talking to people. There's a guy from New York named Aaron, talking to him, and Jimmy comes to me and he goes, hey, I got another favor to ask you. And I go, yeah. And he goes, this is a big favor. Can you do this? And I go, well, I need, what is it? And he goes, there's a guy here in the audience, and he had come with a friend who unfortunately had to leave. There was a medical emergency, and he had to leave like 3 hours into the show. Can you give this guy a ride home?
What?
And I went, are you serious? He goes, yeah, he's a good guy. He loves your show, and he loves our show. He's a listener and a fan, but he lives in Van Nuys, and you're going to the Valley. You're the only one here who's going close there, and if you could give him a lift home, that would be fantastic. It would save him. He doesn't have to call a cab at 6 in the morning, and I said, where's he going? He goes, Van Nuys. I go, yeah, I don't care. What the hell? I'll bring a guy home. What the hell do I care?
Jesus Christ.
And it's so funny because look, I do a show and you guys listen to it every week, and Jimmy does a show and you guys listen to it every week, and there is a certain amount of detachment, whether you write me and want to take me to sushi or not. There still is the natural barrier between I'm a guy who does a show and you're a guy who listens to that show. So for that guy to ask for a ride home, and I don't even know if he asked. I think it might have just kind of come about that way, where they were like, he needs a lift, and it just kind of drifted into my lap, which is, again, I don't mind. I wasn't upset. It just seemed odd. Like I never got to ask Kiss for a ride home. You know what I mean? I mean, I've been to tons of shows in my youth and in my old age. And never once after a show was I able to walk up to a security and go, hey, do me a favor. Can you just ask Elvis Costello if he'll take me to my house? Nothing weird. Like, I don't even want to jock him. He doesn't even talk. I just need to get home, man. I came here with a buddy of mine, and we've kind of drifted apart. So if there's any way Michael Schenker can find his way to taking me to my house, that would be fantastic. Because I know you guys are heading that way, right? It just seems like so anathema to me to ask a guy who I'm a fan of to give me a lift. Like, and the thing is, I have no pretense about it. I'm not a star. I'm a nobody. I do this show, and it's fun, and it's awesome, and I'm glad you guys listen to it. But it still seems odd that to even have the fucking pills to ask for that. It just seems strange. This guy, James was his name. So I said to Pardo, I'm like, all right, I don't mind taking him home. But I'm telling you right now, I am not fucking dropping Pat off before I drop this guy off. He goes, what do you mean? And I go, dude, I'm not getting trapped alone in a fucking car with this guy, fan or no fan. And again, I'm not trying to be mean about it, but I'm just like, look, again, I'm awkward enough talking alone to you people through a goddamn computer every week. The last thing I need to do is drop Pat off at his, because Pat, I recognize Pat he had come all the way from London. He wanted to get home. So the last thing I was going to do was get in the car and have him go, dude, can you drop me off first? No. I'm not going to make awkward small talk with James, because again, what would I have said to Paul Stanley if he drove me home? Mark, you just sit there and put your seatbelt on. People! So I said, look, as long as fucking Pat realizes he's in it for the long haul. And Jimmy's like, then Jimmy gives you that, yes, fine, And I'm like, all right. And Jimmy was just a zombie at that fucking point anyway. I can't even believe he's playing traffic cop for this poor guy, James. It's a bad situation for everybody. I mean, the fact that Jimmy's even asking me, and because Jimmy just wants to go to bed. You can just see it. He was so fried when he's talking to me at 5:15 in the morning. I just went, do you need a blanket? Honestly. And he's just got his arms crossed, shaking his head, and he goes, yeah, I'm done. I'm fucking done. I go, I know you're done. So I go out into the audience where, and by audience I mean chairs because there's nobody left but James. And I said to him, and I go, "Hey, James, I'm Mike." And he goes, "I know, I love your show." And I go, "Great." I said, "I'll take you home. That's fine. I just, we're not leaving for a few minutes, but once we're going, I'll tell you." And he said, "Great." So I go up and I said to Pat, I go, "We got to take this guy home." He goes, "Great. Where does he live?" I said, "I think he said Van Nuys." I said, "So I'm gonna have to drop him off before I drop you off." And Pat's like, "That's fine." I said, "Do me a favor though. Can you go?" I already talked to him once, and it just seems weird for me to keep talking to this guy. Because I'm trying to maintain. Look, I got a rep to protect. Like Demooch in Greece too. I said, "Do me a favor, go ask this guy exactly where he lives, so we know where we're going." And he's like, "All right," because Pat lives. I know where Pat lives, and it's past my house. So I'll have to pass my house to go to Van Nuys and drop James off, and then go further to drop Pat off, and then double back to my house. So he goes and talks to James in the audience. He comes back to me and he goes, "The guy lives in Northridge."
What?
And I'm like, "Oh, I hate Northridge." And it's this irrational hate of Northridge. I don't really hate Northridge. I just hate it because it once you get into Northridge, you're no longer like in Hollywood or Los Angeles anymore. You might as well be in goddamn Fresno. It's just California. You know what I mean? It's just a suburb. You go out there and it's just not fun, terrible, hot, awesome. So I say, "Northridge? You got to be fucking kidding me." He's like, "No." So I'm like, "No problem, whatever." So we go to split. We actually say our goodbyes, and we bring James outside. And I open the back seat. I go, "All right, James, you're going to sit in the back." I purposely made sure I opened the back door for James so he didn't try to get shotgun. And again, this kid could not have been nicer. 23, I don't know, 22 maybe? Or no, he's 23 because in the car I guessed. I said, "What are you, 22? He goes, 23. And I go, close. Because what else am I going to talk to him about?
Guess my age in the car.
What the hell am I going to do? "So, I hear you love me." That's not going to fly. Certainly not all the way to Northridge. Not that I don't like hearing it. "So, word in the street is you think I'm great." So I put James in the back seat, and he goes to get in. He goes, "Is there any way we can move the seat up?" And I'm like, "Fuck you, James." No, I'm not. We move the seat up. I tell Pat to do it's electric. Pat has to learn how to use knobs in his drunken haze. Actually, at this point, he's past drunk. He's all sober. So we're behind the theater. We climb in, and I start the car, go to leave, and there's a woman backing out of a garage behind me. We're behind the theater, so we're in an alleyway. So she's backing out of her garage, and she's backing out of her garage. And I'm not moving. I'm waiting for her to back out and turn. And she continues to back out of her garage. And I look at Pat, and I go, "She's going to hit me, right?" And wham! She backs right into me.
Oh my God.
At 6:45 in the morning, in an alley in Hollywood, this woman backs right into my car. And does not get out of her car, pulls forward, and continues to back up again. And I get out of my car, and I walk over, and I go, "You hit me, right?" And she goes, "Yeah, I'm sorry about that." And she's got like 3 huge dogs in her car. And I go, "Okay, well, I just want to be clear on the fact that you just backed up right into my car." And I go, "It doesn't look like there's anything wrong, but if you acknowledge it, that'd be great." And she goes, "Well, the thing is, when you guys are parked here in this alley, I have to get out of my house. It makes it really hard for me to get out when I'm backing out."
Oh my God.
And I said, "Oh, I see. So that means you can just ram your way through my car and get out of the alley? Is that how it works?" And the best part is I can't imagine how exciting this is for James. Because he's seeing an actual episode of my show come to life. And she goes, "Well, yeah, but I wasn't trying to do that. I just wanted to make sure that I got my car straightened out." And I go, "So you weren't just going to take off and then not acknowledge that you rammed into my car?" And she says, "No." And she gets out of her car and she looks, and she goes, "Are you okay? Is anybody hurt?" To be sarcastic, apparently, because she just bumped my car. Yeah. And I go, "Nobody's hurt. My car looks like it's fine, and I was telling you that it's fine. It would just be nice if you slowed down and didn't act like I was a dick for being in your way as you backed into me." And she goes, "Oh, well, no, it's fine. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get out of here. But you guys with the parking in the alley." I go, "I know. I'm leaving this second. We were loading the car and we're leaving. I was waiting for you to back out. I'm not trapping you anywhere." I'm like, And again, James is in the car. He's probably thinking, this is awesome. And Pat, of course, he's not getting out because he's still on London time as far as he's concerned. He's going to let me hash it out. And I get in the car, and Pat just looks at me. He's like, what the hell? And I go, I don't know, dude. You heard me. I can't even imagine, because she finally drove off. And there was nothing wrong, so I just backed up and I left. But, I mean, who backs into front? Like, she just thought that she could ram through my car? Like, she's angry that I'm in the alley? What the fuck? Are you shitting me? And there's 3 people in the car. My brake lights are on. She sees that we're in the car. And there's smoke coming out of the tailpipe. Fuck. 3 dogs in the car. Where's a coyote when you need him? That's right. Take her fucking throat out. So we split and we go driving. And I'm driving them and we have to get on the freeway. And Pat and I are just talking like, friends will do. And James is in the back. And I'll tell you this about James, too. I find this out as we're driving. Well, I sort of knew beforehand, too. James is legally blind. And he also has like a brace on his leg. There's something going on there, which explains why he couldn't see to drive or walk home. Apparently, all of that was completely incomplete. His eyes were impaired, so there goes the driving. And then he's got this huge brace on his leg. So he can't gump it all the way to the fucking house. So I'm like, all right. So Pat and I are talking, and I got, Squinty McGimpy in the back seat. James, I'm kidding. And because then as we're driving, I said to him, I go, so James, I hear you're blind, right? Is that what's happening? And he just goes, and he's like, no, I'm legally blind. And I go, yes, and I heard there's like something wrong with your leg too. And he's like, yeah, I have a brace. And he goes, yeah, I he goes, I'm legally blind. I'm not blind. And I said, okay. And you have like a brace on your legs or something? And he goes, yeah, I have one leg. And he goes, I have a disease. It's like where one leg is shorter than the other, and it's like it's susceptible to. And here's a beat, and I just go, are you Mr. Glass from Unbreakable? But I didn't laugh when I said it. It was just, I can't even explain. The timing on it was so perfect. I go, so I hear you're blind. Is that what's happening? Well, no, I'm legally blind. So it's like I have a problem with one eye. Eventually I will be blind. I go, oh, okay. And you got a brace on your leg? Yeah, I have like this huge brace on my right leg. And one leg is shorter than the other. And my bones are, it's been broken. Are you Mr. Glass from Unbreakable? Oh, fucking perfect. And he's just like, no, I'm not. And I was so pissed that Pat was so tired he didn't laugh. Like, I'm like, come on, Pat, where are you? You got to back me up on that. So then Pat and I, talk about sticks for the next fucking 5 minutes as James is in the back seat pondering why I asked him if he was Mr. Glass. And he took it in stride. Again, he's a fan of the show, so he knows. Because I can't. Look, I'm not going to coddle James. I mean, you're in the car, buddy. You're going to get fucking skewered. It's going to happen. So we're driving, and Pat and I are talking about music, and then I asked James, I said, hey, are you a music guy? And he's like, yeah, I like music. And I go, well, let me ask you something, because you're blind, does music mean more to you or less to you?
Really?
Well, I want to know. How often am I going to get a captive blind guy who has to talk to me?
Jesus.
I don't take a bus. So I'm not going to run into too many blind guys. I don't hang out at the blind house. I don't know where the fuck those guys hang out.
Oh my God.
Is there like a blind bar they all go to? I got no fucking idea. All I know is I now have a real live blindy specimen in my goddamn car, so I got some goddamn questions I need answered, damn it. You want to ride, you better make with the blind info. And I don't think this question's out of line. I think it's actually a very thoughtful question. Does music mean more or less to you because you're blind? And he's like, well, no, I genuinely enjoy music. And he goes, I have a feeling that when I'm blind, it will mean more to me when I'm officially blind, and which makes me laugh. The term officially blind, I don't even think he said that, but I say it because I wonder if like a referee comes in and just throws a flag and waves it. That's it. Like a ref stops the fight. He's blind. It's done. This guy's officially blind. So then we had to go all the way to Northridge and drop him off. And, we're just, oh, Christ. he gets me off the freeway. You know, the lady who lives in my car tells me where to go. So we get off the freeway and we're driving and driving and driving and driving. And the thing is, in these towns like Northridge or out there in Reseda, you know, you'll get off the freeway and then sometimes you still have like 8 more miles to go because it's just when you leave certain areas, like I was just trying to think, I had it in my brain. There's a place where you leave. Griffith Park. No, that's where I just was. God damn it. I'm trying to think of a location where I was at where you to get on the freeway. Oh, it's Krispy Kreme, because I was at Krispy Kreme over in Burbank, off by where you used to live, and to get to Hollywood, you have to drive all the way down Olive, all the way to the fucking 101. So there's no easy fix. So that's the same with Northridge. You get off of the freeway and you get 8 more miles to go to the blind headquarters. He lives in the Legion of Doom with the rest of the supervillains. So I'm driving and then I'm driving and finally I say to him, I go, James, do you live in the hills? Like, how do you? Because there's nothing but mountains ahead of us now. Do you live in the mountains? Like, I don't know if he's in like a blind cabin. I don't know how it works. You know, he lives in a duck blind. That's where he lives. He actually lives in a duck blind. And he's like, no, dude, it's coming up. And then we wound up just dropping him off finally, and I get to his house and thankfully, you know, he got it. You know, he was a guy who got it. Because then he got out of the car and he goes, look, I just want to tell you guys what an honor it was to actually be in the car with both of you because I'm such a huge fan of what you do. And he was real nice and said, I had so much fun tonight. It was so perfect. And then the fact that Mike showed up at the end was great. And he could not have been friendlier. And I'm like, oh, thanks. And he goes, okay, well, goodbye. And I go, can you get to your house? He goes, what? And I go, you need to take my arm? Do I got to walk you to your apartment? How does this work with you guys? I don't know how this works. And he goes, no, I'm fine. I can manage. I said, great. Nice meeting you. Wham. Close the door. And squints and limps his way into his blind house. Next year, screw Smile Train. They should have a James train. Podcast-a-thon. They should just raise money for James. How mean is that? It's not mean. I'm being right. Having fun.
But what would he need a fundraiser for?
A new eye. They give him a new eye, right? They can fix that. Give him a new eye and a new leg. Yeah, let's rebuild him. We can rebuild James. He's the $6 million fan.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm not topping that. You guys can get me at Mike@MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can be my friend on Facebook at Facebook.com/The40-Year-Old-Boy. You can follow me on Twitter at Twitter.com/The40-Year-Old-Boy. You can follow our friend Lily at Twitter.com/LilyVonStupp or Twitter.com/MNTs. And you can be her friend on Facebook at Facebook.com/LilyVonStupp. Or if you want to write her a personal note and find out just how difficult it was to do this show today, you can send her a note and write her at Lily at Burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at Burlesque411.com.
Hey, all you fans of the 40-year-old boy. Mike's got new stuff to sell you. Stuff he hopes you'll enjoy. Just what's for sale, of course we do not know. All we can tell you
is where you should go.
Zazzle.com, 40-year-old boy. Zazzle.com, 40-year-old boy. Zazzle.com, 40-year-old boy. ZAZZLE.com.
Is your business you?
What kind of stuff's for sale? We already told you we don't know. 'Cause Mike made us record this song way back in February. So we can only speculate just what Mike will try to sell you. Maybe his face on a tambourine or his own line of gardening equipment. Zazzle.com, 40-year-old boy. Zazzle.com, 40-year-old boy. Zazzle.com, 40-year-old boy. ZAZZLE.com.
Maybe his own line of high chairs.
ZAZZLE.com.
His face on your personal massager.
ZAZZLE.com.
Want to remind you folks about the Monday Night Teas every Monday night at the 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine in Hollywood. Hey, Lily Von Stupp.
Yes, Michael.
Lily Von Stupp is the producer of the world's longest-running burlesque show in Los Angeles. That seems weird. Which is the Monday Night Teas. Hey, who do we have coming up this week at the Monday Night Teas?
The Green Queen, Caravan Sutra, is performing.
That's big. Now, Caravan Sutra, wait a minute. She's coming to your show?
Yeah, she's performing.
Is she doing like a longer set, or how does that work for Cara?
I don't know what she's doing yet.
Hmm.
Then I have...
I thought she was like, she did longer sets all the time. I wasn't sure how that works.
I have a group from San Francisco coming down.
Okay. I heard that knee. I told you that, right? Okay.
Oh, shit. Is that your bad knee?
That's fine.
I am so sorry.
That's fine. Sure.
That one.
And then there's a troupe coming down?
There's a troupe coming down from San Francisco, Rubenesque Burlesque, big, bold, body, rump-shaking babes.
Go see that. That's December 6th?
December 6th.
Yes.
And I have local comic Eric Cash hoping.
Eric Cash? He's hosting.
Hosting.
Yeah. You're going to say opening and hosting.
Yeah, I
But
will.
Eric Cash will be there hosting, so that's good. Sounds like a great show. It'll be exciting. Will you be in attendance?
I will be.
All right. Is there a secret word or something for people to get in? All right. Just come out for the show. And December 13th, folks, if you remember this is the week after. That's next Monday. Not this coming Monday, but next Monday. It is the Stripple show, the special Stripplepalooza benefit show where we're raising money for our friend Lily and her bad knee. And she hobbles around in a cane and a wheelchair and a shillelagh. So what we can do is go ahead and raise money for her on December 13th. And as I remember telling you last week, I'll tell you again. Anyone who goes to the show on December 13th and goes to Lily and says, hey, I came because the 40-year-old boy sent me here, she will take your name and email address, and I will give you a year 1 and year 2 download set for free. I will give you a Super Angry Guy Jean Happy Good Time Yelling combo just for going and supporting Lily. But you got to buy a ticket to the show, of course. So and once you do that, then you're golden. Look at that. Normally, that's a $40 value, folks, and you're getting it for $15, whatever it costs to get in that day. So make sure you go up to Lily and you say, hi, I did this, and you give your email address, and I will go ahead and take care of you then on the 13th. We'll cover it again next week, right? Because we have one more show before the 13th.
Yeah.
I think, right?
Yeah.
We should. Wednesday comes again before that.
I believe it does.
I think so.
Wednesday comes.
So remember the Monday Night Teas every Monday night at the 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine. Also want to tell you folks to go to facebook.com/the40year-old boy and be my friend there, as I've mentioned. Also, I want to throw this out there because just because I feel like doing it. Well, first of all, I'll tell you on Facebook again, be my friend, be Lily's friend. And there's the there's the Westside 86 Jokers, which is the Mike Schmidt fan club. You can go ahead and join that and support. And also there are the Bring Mike Schmidt to Town pages. There's Bring Mike Schmidt to Austin, to Phoenix, to Portland, and to the Ozarks. And now there's one for Ireland.
Wow.
Yes, there's one that's up in Ireland. Although that's not like an official page. It's like a guest page. I don't know. But the gentleman was very nice and he put it on my page. So whoever wants me to go to Ireland can sign up on there and I'll go.
Can we send you?
Yeah, exactly. Send Mike Schmidt to Ireland. I'm going to have a burlesque show where people come in and then they actually pay to send me to Ireland. That'd be fine. But on Facebook, I tell you this, go ahead and be Lily's friend. I think I've mentioned that to you guys before if you haven't. But also, why not be Dave Hernandez's friend? I don't think we get Dave enough. I don't give Dave enough credit here. Exactly. I have no idea if he wants them or not. But who cares? If you go to facebook.com and 40-year-old boy, on the side where it says friends that I have, you'll always see Dave Hernandez. He's one of the ones, Dave Hernandez, Lily Bunched up there, always right there. So if you go to Dave Hernandez, become his friend. I don't, because I would say facebook.com/Dave Hernandez or Max or whatever he would go, but he didn't do that. He's got this string of numbers, which I'm not going to say. So what you need to do is go to my page on Facebook and then click through to Dave and give him a friend request or post on his wall because, after a while, when it's only me posting on your wall or writing stuff, I think that gets a bit much because, look, I get to be taken in small doses. So a lot of you guys post on my wall, and you're funny, so go ahead and post on Mex's wall. I don't know if he cares or he wants it, but who cares? I throw it in your lap to make you guys do it. Also, remember that Rob Matsushita is our friend. He's a filmmaker at ClaymorePictures.net. Go ahead and watch Chapel, his web series, and check out all the information at ClaymorePictures.net about anything else Rob Matsushita might have coming up. Remember, you can go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com and go to the Joe Business page and click through to buy the download sets if you're unable to attend Stripplepalooza. You can get the year 1, the year 2 download sets, or you can get the Super Angry Guy Jean Happy Good Time Yelling combo. Always available. And you can donate to the show also on MikeSchmidtComedy.com. In the upper left-hand corner, you will find Little Schmitty with his pocket out. Go ahead and fill that if you can. That'd be great if you wanted to sponsor the show and help us out there. All of the proceeds go to the adult children of broken homes. So... Actually, it's not true. Mex doesn't count for that, but I certainly do. Also, remember, if you need a trainer, you can go to realworldfit.com and look up Sean Richardson, or go to twitter.com/realworldfit.com and follow them and find out about all of the muscles they're increasing all over California. And we also have the Zazzle store, which I've told you folks about. And if you go to the Zazzle store, we have mugs and we have mouse pads and we have the Stripple shirt available in the Zazzle store. And I will tell you, it's the holiday season, folks. And the holiday season brings special gifts for you to purchase for your friends. And in the Zazzle store right now, as of this, let's put it this way. It's not there right now as I say this, but hopefully by tonight it will be there. By the time you hear this, it will be, because I have to go home and do it. And then it'll be in the store tomorrow for purchasing, which is Thursday. The Miracle of Hanjabaka shirt is available, folks. So you can go ahead and buy that and horribly offend all of your Jewish friends by picking up a 40-year-old boy Miracle of Hanjabaka shirt that is available now because Hanukkah started today at sundown, as we all know. And it's funny, I actually wanted to record the show yesterday and have it out early so the shirt was available in time before sundown and all that, but real life interfered. So I decided to stay on the regular schedule. And I'm sure Yahweh will forgive me for not having the shirt available on the first day of Hanukkah. But certainly now on the second day until the 20th, you guys can go ahead and purchase the Miracle of Hanjabaka shirt at the Zazzle.com store. Go to the Joe Business page at MikeSchmidtComedy.com and click through, and you can find a Miracle of Hanjabaka shirt. So that's available. And what else? I'll tell you this, folks. It turns out that Mike Schmidt's episode of the What the Fuck podcast with Mark Maron is airing this week.
What the fuck?
WTF with Mark Maron is what it's called, but we all know it's What the Fuck. My interview with Mark Maron, the interview he did with me, is going up, I think, tomorrow or Friday. I'm not sure when. I'm sure you guys download all of them anyway, because fucking Aziz Ansari was on there Monday. He's a huge star. I'm sure you got that. And I don't know if he teased that I was going to be on later in the week. I have no idea. I didn't get to listen to it yet. I have downloaded it. It's sitting there like a time bomb waiting for me to unleash the humor of Aziz Ansari like an explosion. But I can tell you that mine will be out in the next 2 days. So why not check that out and see if it lived up to or lived down to any of my expectations? Because I have no idea. I honestly don't even remember what I said. I have no idea what we talked about. So hopefully it's good. I mean, let's put it this way. It's going to be half good because Mark's on it. I can't vouch for my end because I literally do not remember any of the topics we discussed. So go ahead and check that out. And check out all of Mark's work. As you know, I'm a huge fan, and he's fantastic. So the WTF podcast with Mark Maron featuring me will be up this weekend, either tomorrow or Friday. And remember to get your Miracle of Hanjabaka shirt. And I'm off to go to my house and have a potato latkes because my wife brought out her menorah and she's making potato pancakes now because I know she's not Jewish. My wife is not Jewish, but it doesn't matter. My wife loves holidays, period. So she's going to go ahead and observe them by making the food of them. Is that? The food of them. The food of Hanjabaka is apparently potato latkes. It's Hanukkah. Damn it. I'm actually calling it Hanjabaka. That doesn't make any sense. And I have to get used to eating potatoes because my wife just can't. She keeps spending, she bought us tickets to Tron this weekend. She's like, hey, I bought your tickets to Tron. And I go, what? She goes, yeah, at the El Capitan. And I go, how much was that? And she goes, it was like $50 plus there's this, there's an amount, but it comes with a soda and a hot dog. Like, hey, it's still $50. You gotta be shitting me. That's almost as much as 10 dozen donuts. But Tron, it's like, because I said to her that we were going because I definitely want to see it and the trailers look good, but I can't remember if I liked Tron. I don't, because she's like, didn't you love it when you were a kid? And I'm like, nah, I don't think I did. I remember, you know what I loved? I loved the Tron video game. I remember loving the Tron video game, but the movie I think I'm kind of indifferent about. It's you know what Tron is? Tron is the exact opposite of Journey for me. I hated the Journey video game, but I fucking loved Journey. It was great. You don't remember the Journey video game? It was captured, and they actually had to run around. You actually were Journey, and you had to run around and fight the guys from Tron. I think that's how it worked out. It was like they should put, you know what? They should do more of that, like putting rock stars in fucking video games, and they could start with Journey. They already made their likenesses. Like you'd make Steve Perry the Hedgehog, like make him run around and fucking fight dudes and jump on mushrooms and shit. Super Neil Sean brothers. I love it. Why isn't Journey in more video games? I need Journey to be. You know what? They need to make a Wii Journey. And that would be great because then it would be like Wii Journey and then like a Steve Perry. And you could also have like a Steve Augeri and then that other Filipino guy who I don't remember his goddamn name. But they made him the fucking singer. So then you could all... I don't even. Why do I spit out this random bullshit that nobody fucking cares about? I am peddling obscenity. I am gonna get a whole fucking army of you people, and you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna listen to me and then do nothing for an entire fucking week. I can't be trusted. Don't you people know this? It was like the Back to the Future of suck. I don't want to have a boner in somebody else's pants. I need to shoot up heroin and jog. Hey, ass fuck, are you listening to anything that I'm saying to you? Fuck, somebody's gotta shut that old guy up. And I'm like, fuck you! I'm not a potato! I'm a goddamn cantaloupe! Hi, Mike. 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 Hi, Mike.